In this lesson, we'll be learning how to convert between degrees and radians. So we already know about degrees. Degrees is used to measure angles, like 15 degrees, 90 degrees, 360 degrees. Okay? Now there is another system, it's called radians. And sometimes they ask you to use that method. Okay? Your calculator can also handle it, and we'll talk about that later. But degrees and radians are both ways of measuring angles. All right, so just like if you're measuring temperature, we use Fahrenheit, other countries use Celsius, but they're both used to measure the same thing. All right, now we can kind of tell which one's which. Degrees always have this degree symbol in it. Radians usually have the pi symbol in it. Okay, so what we're working on today is converting back and forth. Now, if they give you degrees, and they want you to convert it to radians, you're going to take whatever they give you and multiply it by pi over 180 degrees. On the other hand, if they gave you radians and they wanted you to convert it to degrees, you would multiply by the opposite factor. You would multiply by 180 degrees over pi. So very similar, just knowing which one to use for which situation. So degrees to radians is pi over 180. Radians to degrees is 180 over pi. All right, so let's see our first example. Convert 135 degrees. And there, we just said it, 135 degrees. So that'll tell us this is in degrees. And the only way to convert that is to now make it into radians. So let's look at my options up here. We're using this one. It is in degrees. They want us to convert it to radians. I'm going to take whatever, I'll show both, take whatever I have, 135 degrees, multiply it by pi over 180. So you'll notice there's a pi or a degree symbol up here and a degree symbol down there. One on top, one on bottom cancels out, so you know it's not in degrees anymore. This symbol that's going to be left is pi, and that usually tells us we'll be in radians. So if we multiply this together, multiply across the top and across the bottom, we get 135 pi over 180. Now technically that is the radian answer, but what we're going to do is reduce this as much as possible. Now, between 135 and 180, there are a couple options. 3 goes into both, 5 goes into both, 15 goes into both, and actually the biggest number that goes into both is a 45. Okay, that is the greatest common factor. We can divide both top and bottom by 45. Now, if you don't get 45 on your first try, let's say you tried 3, that's fine. You just have to pull out another number, maybe a 5, then another number, maybe another 3, as long as it all comes out the same. So I'm just trying to do it all in one step. If you have to take multiple steps, that's fine, but we do need a fully simplified version of this. So 135 divided by 45 comes out to a 3. Still have pi on top, and 180 divided by 45, that comes out to 4. So there's my final simplified answer. 135 degrees is the same as 3 pi over 4. And that is in the radian system. Okay? Try another. For example, let's go ahead and convert 270 degrees. So obviously this is in degrees. We want to convert it to radians. The way we do that is to take what I'm given, 270 degrees, multiply it by pi over 180 degrees. So smashing that together, I get 270 pi over 180. And then we want to reduce as much as possible. Yes, 2 goes into it, 10 goes into it, 3 goes into it. The biggest possible is going to actually be a 90. 90 goes into both 270 and 180. So 270 divided by 90 comes out to a 3. Still have pi on top. 180 divided by 90 is a 2. Again, if it takes you multiple steps to get there, if you take out a 2 and find out you can take out some more, go ahead. Okay, so I'm just showing you in the fastest way possible. Alright, let's take a look at another one. So now, they're going to tell us to convert 3 pi. So obviously this time with pi in it, there's no degree symbol. This is in radians. So they want us to go to degrees. So when it's happening like this, we take 3 pi and we're going to multiply by the opposite, by 180 degrees over pi. Because you'll notice we're getting that pi to disappear. A pi on top and a pi on bottom cancel. 3 times 180 degrees on our calculator comes out to 540, and you notice the symbol that's still left? Degrees. So 3 pi is the same as 540 degrees, so more than one time around a circle, because one time is 360. So this goes around a couple times. Let's try another conversion of radians. Let's go ahead and convert pi over 2. So this is something we're going to see quite often, these fraction radians. We want to convert that to degrees, so pi over 2. The way to convert it is to multiply by 180 degrees over pi. So pi's cancel. And multiplying this together, we get 180 degrees over 2. And finally simplifying that, 180 divided by 2 is a 90 degrees. So now we are in degrees. 90 degrees. So pretty simple here. Just make sure you simplify as much as possible. Cancel out pi's, make sure you have the right units at the end. But here's your thing to remember. When you're going from degrees to radians, multiply by pi over 180. When you're going from radians to degrees, multiply by 180 over pi.